What's the most ridiculous reason for which you've been dumped? The girl told me she thought this boy who she had a crush on for a long time was gonna ask her out. She said this to me. Her then BF. Honestly, I dumped a guy that way before. I was 15. He was 22. It was a primarily online relationship, but we didn't live far from each other, and we planned to meet. I genuinely thought I loved him for a time, but our conversations were either horny or him saying sad stuff about himself and me reassuring him all the time. It was emotionally exhausting, and I was already suffering with my own depression from before being with him. Then I found out a boy my own age, who went to my school, who I'd had a crush on for literally years, might like me, and I started talking to him. I didn't even have confirmation that he liked me. It was literally just my friends saying they catch him looking at me sometimes. We were purely friendly at this point, but talking to him was always pleasant and fun, and made me feel good. When I realized that my heart sank every time I saw my boyfriend was online, meaning I'd have to talk to him and listen to him call himself names and crap, I knew I had to end it. But beyond that, I didn't want to cheat on him and start building something new with this other dude while still being with him. So it told him, and I was honest and said that I wanted to take a chance with this other guy my own age. I don't really feel bad about it either. What else could I have done? Stay in a depressing, emotionally draining relationship? Stay with him, but cheat so I could feel happy sometimes? No. I was 15. 12 years later, and I'm married to the guy I left him for. What's a 22 years old doing with a 15 years old? That's not okay where I'm from. I wish I still had the text. Long story short, she was mad I didn't grab her ass in public on our first date. Lol WTF. Are you for real? Very. She thought I was too nice. After going out with this guy for 6 months, I asked him if we were dating, and he immediately ghosted me. This has always been so weird to me. My friend has been dating this woman for over a year now, and they still won't call each other girlfriend/boyfriend. But this man is 39 freaking years old. It doesn't stop with these guys. It's so weird. You have to sort of slide into a relationship. You can't just ask someone on an early date, do you want to try and see if we can have a relationship, and then you're a couple until you break up. I met a woman from Thailand when I was 23, and she wouldn't even kiss me before I asked her to be my girlfriend. It seemed awkward at the time, but I actually like it a lot more. To me, it's idiotic that you frick and share intimate details of your life and then have to wait months and months to have the talk. I just chatted with a 36-year-old woman on my online dating who said she wants to have kids someday but doesn't think she's ready for a boyfriend yet, red flag, and is just looking for friends. My ex's cat was named Ben. The girl I was dating's cat was named Bundles. One day, I called Bundles Ben. She asked me what I just called her cat. I thought about it and then remembered that was my ex's cat's name. I laughed and told her, and she was super unimpressed. Broke up with me the next day, and this is why I'm still surprised my husband didn't break it off when I called him my ex's name within the first 4 months of our relationship. I only once called my husband by my ex's name, and it was when I was extremely frustrated with him. To be honest, I think he wasn't upset because I was associating the way I felt angry with my ex more than with him. Shared this before here, but this has and will always take the cake for me. College GF's dad won $1 million in the state lottery over winter break. Broke up with me over the phone, telling me now that I'm rich, I can't afford to date regular people like you. That's really the only thing wrong. You're just regular. But that doesn't make you rich unless you use it wisely. Most people who have won the lottery go bankrupt later because they don't know how to handle large sums of money. Also, her dad had $1 million. She didn't have crap. Dump might be extreme, but on a first date, girl asked me to go buy her popcorn literally as the movie started, so I did. Whispered as I was getting up, "You want butter on that?" Brought it back and she says, "Is there butter on this?" I said, "Yes." I asked and you said yeah, and she said, "No." I specifically said, "No." I thought she was joking or something. It was like a Seinfeld bit. So I said, well, maybe this just isn't going to work out. And she said, I think you're right. Thanks for nothing. And freaking left. But she took my popcorn. She should have thanked me for freaking that. Ugh. At least you dodged a bullet. Small inconvenience and she's ready to drop it doesn't make for long-term relationship stuff. You barely had a short-term relationship. Sucks about the popcorn. She didn't want it, but then took it. In bird culture that is called a peen move. Wisdom. I was dating a guy whose parents didn't like me. It was a long distance relationship, and so we mostly chatted online, but also made occasional phone calls. So we were talking on the phone, and at one point I said, you shouldn't have to choose between me and your parents. The conversation continued. We decided to break up. We stayed friends. Something like 10 years later, we were talking online when the subject of our breakup came up. Turns out he thought I had said, you should have to choose between me and your parents, and decided that he wasn't going to do that. I would never give someone that kind of ultimatum. That would be ridiculous. It blew my mind that a single misheard word caused us to break up, and we didn't realize it for 10 years. Contraction words are deadly. Not me, but one of my friends who's a senior in high school got dumped by her boyfriend who she dated for almost 2 years. He dumped her because he didn't want to go to the school dance. A few days later he texted her to tell her that he wanted to get back together, but she declined. He could have just told her that he didn't want to go and still be her with her, or just go to the stupid dance. That's on one episode of Malcolm in the Middle. The girlfriend finds out that Reese is trying to pick a fight with her to avoid the dance. She makes him go anyway and dumps him right after. It's more shallow than that. Reese doesn't want to spend money on the activities and even tries getting grounded to avoid going. The girl and Lois see through him and make him blow his savings on the night. If I remember right, he was crying in the limo and in all the pictures. Twin complex. Her twin got jealous. She was the older sister of her twin sibling. They came from a conservative and sheltered family. I was her first boyfriend. She wasn't going to school, summer break, or have a working at that moment. When we first started going out, her younger twin sister would text her non-stop. Then she would make up excuses that her stomach hurts and ask her to come home. I tried to talk to her younger sister and she definitely made it seem like I was stealing her property away. I made a compromise with her to see her at least once a week. I was making time for her, even though I was working full time, while she had no job/school. In the end, her sisters jealously made it impossible to develop any kind of healthy relationship with her. They were both 23 at the time, and would spend most of their time cosplaying, dressing up as in characters. The weirdest part was they would often dress as the couples in the anime and even Photoshop themselves kissing/making out. So yay, I was attracted to her kindness, since her sister was actually really caring person. But it turns out there was a reason why they never dated. You missed the opportunity to live the fantasy. I don't think so. They were more on the conservative side. Imo, I think I dodged a bullet tbh. Dated a chick in my early 20s. We partied a lot at the time. One night I refused to get into her car and go for the drive home since we were obliterated. She got upset, said frick you this guy, I'll be fine on my own. Receive a call from her 36 hours later. She'd been bailed out of jail already. This guy, you are a freaking asshole. It's your fault I went to jail. I'm breaking up with you. I hung up and giggled idiot. Lol. What a perfect ending. Yeah, the word idiot really ends the story well. On the surface, it sounded okay. My GF and I were kinda fizzling out. But when she dumped me, she said it was because I was not religious enough. She wanted to go to church every Sunday and for major religious holidays. I was okay with her going, but I was conflicted about religion at the time, so I didn't want to go. So that is what she said when she dumped me. Seems like a decent reason. What made it ridiculous is that about 6 months later, she was dating the president of the college atheist group. Millimeters. My guess is she was already having doubts about religion and was under a lot of pressure from her church to find someone with whom she was equally yoked, literally how they say it, to bring her back into the fold. 6 months of Soul searching later, dating the president of an atheist group would send a nice, strong signal to her congregation. Source: my husband grew up in a fundamentalist family, and I was with him through his walking away from religion. Because I wouldn't drop the restraining order on him. Apparently me calling the police on him to get him out of my house, putting a restraining order on him because he was trying to kill me, and then calling the police on him when he broke the restraining order didn't mean we broke up. It took standing in front of a judge to extend my restraining order for him to tell me, whatever bitch, it's over. Because I guess I was just joking with everything else. Well, what do you expect when you send him so many mixed signals? The man's not a minbreeder. First you say you'll see me in court, now you're saying you don't want to see me again. Which is it? I don't feel a spark of anything when we kiss anymore. At that time I got hit in the mouth with a bat and couldn't kiss her for the past month. If you didn't want to be with me just say it, or at least come up with a better lie to dump me over. Freshman, me, and senior, broke up over the weekend and the following Monday I took my aluminum bat, it was an old bat, to the backyard to take some frustration out on some tree branches in firewood pile. The thickest one bounced the bat back at me and it hit me with lightning speed. Broke 4 teeth, and stayed home from school the next day. Senior GF noticed I wasn't in class, and asked our mutual friend what happened to me, and she explained to my freshly ex-GF. That day she texted me after school that she wanted to get back together. We stayed together for a few weeks while I was healing, and she thought my lisp was cute, and out of nowhere one day she said the infamous words "we need to talk," and said she didn't feel anything when we kiss anymore. In my head I was thinking bish we ain't kissed since my mouth got broke, but I took it like a man and went along with it. The next week she started dating a girl that had a big crush on her. For a moment I thought a bat flew straight at your face. Perhaps this one had a broken sonar or some crap. Then I realized what bat you were talking about. Not me but my friend. We were in 3rd grade, 7, 8, which was when relationships lasted 2 minutes. This boy and girl said they liked each other, and a day later they said they were going to get married. Their wedding was held the day after at lunch and our entire class was there. The girl googled how weddings work, so this was a children's version of a wedding. There was the walk down the aisle, the flower girl, the guy that pronounces you married, forgot what is called, a party, and even rings made out of small rubber bands. Lunch is an hour long, so this happened pretty quickly. Teachers thought the marriage was going to end quickly. They got to 6 months, 7, 8, 1 year, 8, 9, 2 years, 9, 10, and then 3 years, 10, 11. In 6th grade the guy cheated on her with another girl and they broke up but kept the rings on. They got back together a few days later after he broke up with the other girl. They got to 4 years, 11, 12, where our class went to different schools, but we meet as a whole group every month, so we knew they are still together. They got to 5 years, 12, 13, 6 years, 13, 14, 7 years, 14, 15, and then 8 years, 15, 16. Then one day we were all at the beach and he proposed to her, and she says yes. He didn't ask her parents because they didn't approve of their relationship in the first place, so they were willing to wait. They got to 9 years, 16, 17, and then finally 10 years, 17, 18. They got married for real and had a proper ceremony and had it just like we did 10 years earlier. Nostalgia hit hard that day. They got to 11 years, 18, 19. We were all having a party for a friend's job promotion, and she announced she was pregnant, so she couldn't drink, and I honestly cried. They got to 12 years, 19, 20. She gave birth in October 2017 to a baby girl and they were over the moon. We still hung out a lot and brought their child with us. They got to 13 years, 20, 21, 14 years, 21, 22, and today they are celebrating their 15th year, 22, 23. I honestly want this kind of relationship. From the way you added an update every year I was half expecting one of them to die or something. WTF. I was expecting a him twist as well. When I was in year 6, 6th grade, my GF dumped me cause I was too black and I was killing her vibe. Charlotte, if you ever read this, I hope you burn in hell. I'm not black, but I'm olive complexioned and get very tan. I was rejected once because I was too dark. And then whenever there's a Reddit thread like what unattractive features do you find appealing and someone answers when the girl/guy is pale, I'm like, get the frick out to here. In what universe is being dark universally acceptable and pale is not? Not to downplay racism or anything, because that's a way bigger issue, but I'm pale AF and people love to make fun of it. Can't tell you how many times people have accused me of being a vampire or a recluse. A good portion even tell me that I look sick because apparently my skin color is unhealthy. I live an active lifestyle and get outside often. I just don't tan. Can I do the most ridiculous reason I've had to dump someone? Starting dating this girl. She's like 29 with a master's degree, really sweet and cute, so I'm excited about the potential. On our third date we were driving to a late night event at a science museum and she asked what I was most excited about seeing, and I said I've always enjoyed the dinosaur fossils, and she said, oh, and got real quiet. After 5 seconds of silence I asked if she didn't like dinosaurs or something, and she said it's not that. It's more than, well, I'm not sure how I feel about dinosaurs. Which led me to ask by feel, you mean, you? And she said well, I'm just not sure if they are real. /beat I look over quizzically. She continues like, they are not mentioned in the Bible, so I don't know if they existed. I tried to get through the night and to be fair there were some decent jokes. When we walked into the natural sciences wing there was a picture of Darwin on the wall and she said hey look, there's your best friend, and later we were standing in front of a skeleton of a raccoon and I said so just to be clear, your position on raccoons is yes, no, maybe? She was a pretty nice girl and we had fun on the first 2 dates, so I tried to tough it out, but the dinosaur thing just ate at me for days. Like a week later I called her from the office and this was our conversation. Me, look, we gotta talk. I don't think this is going to work for me. 10 seconds of silence. It's the dinosaur thing, isn't it? Me, yeah, it's the dinosaur thing. What did she say when you guys were viewing the dinosaur fossils? That they were a hoax? So basically standing in front of these fossils I was like, so, you don't think these are real? I'm not sure I understand. And she got just a little bit defensive, but at the same time was kind of awkwardly laughing and was saying things like I don't know. I just know I'm not sure. And look, they are not talked about in the Bible, so I don't know what to believe. At that point I just figured I wasn't going to press the issue on a date in front of a bunch of people also whatever. I mean, if that's the world she sees then as much as I may disagree, so be it. And I'm not religious, but I have no general problem with someone who believes in a creator or follows a faith. I just very quickly realized I couldn't be with someone who would fundamentally deny fact and logic in favor of their religious comfort. To stand in front of a giant fossil and just say this isn't real was a bridge too far for me. Honestly, the thing that really threw me off was that when we had this, we went back and forth for a minute after I broke the news, and she eventually got a little upset and yelled well you could have been the one who taught me to believe. At which point I was like, look, I'm not trying to be anyone's dinosaur savior over here.